Yeah, first off, man, got a ton of respect for Coach Martin. One of the best games that I've ever been a part of was at Xavier. We're in the Sweet 16 in Utah when he was at Kansas State. When Jordan Crawford hit some big shots, Tu Holloway hit some big shots, and they had Jacob Poland making some big shots for them, and it was a heck of a game. We always talk about that when I see him. But got a ton of respect for what he does. He gets his guys to play incredibly hard. And they're just so physically imposing. So we knew we were going to have our hands full. Obviously, we were down Luke tonight. Found out right before the game. I would anticipate him being back for next game just with illness. Obviously, he wanted to play. He's a team guy, but it's next man up. Our guys don't flinch. So we're down at Pissarro and Scaljak, but we figured it out. And we didn't have many guards out there tonight, but I told Eian he was got to handle the ball a little bit more than he normally does. Obviously, Suter barely came out. Him and Eian basically played the whole game. Kirby gave us some great minutes. I thought just effort plays. I thought our offensive rebounding was critically important tonight for us. For a team that defensive rebounds really, really, really well. UMass is one of the top 20 defensive rebounding teams in the country. I thought we really got on the glass and got second opportunities. And just kind of weathered the storm. I was just like, fellas, we just got to land the plane. It's like it's a lot of turbulence up there. It wasn't always pretty tonight. They made some shots. Give them credit from some guys that maybe typically aren't as good from three. But again, it is what it is. You got to make the adjustment in the game, right? Sanford made a couple. I know Danny made one, and so did Jaden. And those guys probably are a little bit more drivers. That's probably on me. We treated those guys what we call rondos, more drive guys. So we were closing out short. But I always say water will usually find its level. Banks obviously had a huge first half, got some good looks. Again, he's an elite scorer, and that's what he does. But again, just great team effort across the board. Super proud of our guys. Elmer had a career night. He was tremendous. That's what it takes, man. When one guy goes down, man, the next man up mentality, and that's what we do.
Coach, 2 straight overtime games, and this one comes down to the wire. How impressed are you with the resiliency and what these guys are learning coming down the stretch to be able to win games like this?
Yeah, we got a tough group. They stay together through thick and thin. And I think that's why we're good in those moments, right? We never give up, whether we're down by 4 with a minute to go, whether we're up by 4 with a minute to go. The basketball is a game of a lot of, mistakes. And you just got to go next play. Like Justin Kirby fouled the 3-point shooter. It's like, but you can't dwell on it. You got to move on. You got to go next play mentality, right? And our group has an ability to do that. And when it's really, we're in the heat of the moment, when things are really, really tight, which I think is going to serve us well in March. Well, I'd like to win bigger, though. Let's make that crystal clear.
You mentioned Elmer's performance. Just kind of break down what you saw from him. And sometimes you see the first couple go, and he missed his first couple and then got hot.
He did. I told him going into the game he's going to have to be uber aggressive for us here tonight. Obviously Luke's one of the best playmakers in the MAC. I think he's shown that. And so we're going to have other guys kind of elevate a little bit more. And so there was more on Eian's shoulders, and he's built for it. He never lost his confidence. You mentioned it. He missed his first couple shots, just stuck with it. Water will find its level. He's a tremendous shooter. He rebounds the ball. He defends. He's able to get to the free throw line. Again, he had an incredible game. He came over to the one free throw, and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to get you out of here." He was gassed. I said, "You need a breather?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, you're only going to be out for about 20 seconds. I said, we're going to throw you right back in there." And he said, "I got you, coach." He just, again, plays to win, man. You hear his voice, his leadership. Just from where he came 2 years ago, I thought we were going to have to redshirt him his freshman year. When he first got here, his summer of his freshman year, I was just like, man, this dude's got a long, long, long ways to go. Give Christian Smith a lot of credit. Our assistant coach has done a great job with him, and Ian's put a ton of work in to have these moments. So I'm happy for him.
Coach, how nice was it to have, especially when you've got the TV thing going, to have the kind of crowd you have with the kind of cold that's outside, for them to show out.
Listen, when we took over 3.5 years ago, I still have that picture at home of the Evansville game. We lost that game, by the way. My first game ever here at Miami. I have the picture of the crowd, and just always remind myself of where we were when we first got here. And I knew it was going to be a rebuild from a talent perspective, from a culture perspective. Once I got here, kind of figured that out as well. And then also it was like, man, hey, from just a fan attendance, student interaction. It wasn't there. There was a disconnect for somehow, some way. But the Miami students love athletics. They love athletics, right? And I think they crave, again, our guys have earned this, right, to have this crowd. We've won. We're ranked and all that stuff. So I think that's created a good buzz and excitement. But we want to give the students a great experience. Like coming to these type of games, and these will be moments that, again, the students will remember for the rest of their lives. Our players will remember for the rest of their lives. And that's what life's all about, are again, the experiences that you get. And again, to see the crowd that we had, man, the students were elite. They were loud. They propelled us, quite honestly. We were another man down tonight, and I thought our students were the difference in the game.
How'd you feel about your defense? Did you feel it was any better in the second half than the first?
Yeah. Maybe a hair. That they first half was bad. We let Banks get loose. It was a tough foul call probably on Pete to get him going with those 2 free throws at the end of the shot clock there that got him going as a shooter. Man, you see that first couple little easy shots go in, man. All of a sudden the rim feels like it's the Pacific Ocean, and he's an elite scorer. He's an elite scorer, and we let him get going a little bit too much there in the first half. I thought their physicality, we tried to prepare our guys for it. It's like helmets and shoulder pads against Frank Martin's teams. And I think they were more physical than us for sure in the first half. On the glass specifically, they had 9 offensive rebounds at half. They finished with 12. All right, they had 9 in the first half. We did a much better job on that in the second half. I thought we were a little bit more physical with our post defense as well. And again, Banks didn't go off in the second half as much as he did in the first half. That's honestly probably the difference. But we still got a lot of areas to clean up on defense. I don't like where our defense is.
Coach, you got the line 25 times in the second half. Comment on the physicality, getting the ball to the hoop too.
Yeah. Listen, they deny and they pressure, the entire game. They make every catch contested. They're hard. They're probably different than every other team in our league. And so sometimes you just got to play north and south. You got to drive the ball. You got to land on 2. You got to be strong. You got to play through bumps. I thought our guys did a good job of that, like using their aggressiveness against them, right? Sometimes defenses are more passive, so you have to create the advantage. When a team's like aggressive like they are, they create the advantage for you if you can handle your water once you get into the paint. Right. So, and that allowed us to get some spray out threes. And I thought Elmer, his pick and pop ability there in the second half really opened some things up as well.
Was this the loudest you've heard Millette?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Not even close. Yeah. Like I said, our students were incredible. That was before the game. So 90 minutes, I always go out and watch warm-ups just to kind of get an eyeball of our team, kind of see where they are, try to get a pulse. And then I try to watch the other team. I like to see them in person, especially if we haven't played them before. I like to watch them shoot and just see what their shot looks like, different things. And man, I was shocked when I went out there. I couldn't sit in my normal spot, right? Usually I sit in the end zone, and the students were all there 90 minutes before the game. It was packed. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to sit over here on the side, sit in a little different spot. So the students were incredible, man. It's so appreciative of them attending tonight.
Travis, can you just talk about the historical significance of tonight? Nebraska loses. It's you and Arizona as the only 2 unbeatens in Division I.
Yeah. Listen, I've said this before, but I could probably care less about the streak and more just about trajectory. Can we be at our best in March? But I also understand like how special this is for our university, for our men's basketball program and our players. It's all about our players. We got great players. We got great human beings in our program, and I'm excited for them to be able to get the exposure that they deserve.
And one more quick one. Keeping contact with UMass when you were down 10, how important was that in the first half and closing with the 8-2 run?
Yeah, huge. I thought we made some hustle plays during that when they got up by 10. Like Kirby had a couple big-time plays. Just hustle. Just play hard. I mean, he had 7 rebounds. He had a couple rebounds, man, where he high-pointed those things. I mean, he's a freshman. And he's up there above the rim just going and grabbing it. Eian Elmer had a couple big-time hustle plays during that stretch as well. So did Pete. So again, our guys are resilient. They know, listen, it's a game of we break down the game into 4-minute rounds. There's 10 of them. And we always say it's 0-0. Can we win more 4-minute rounds than the other team? Right? Can we get to 7 kills? So the games within the game rather than looking at that scoreboard like, hey, we're down by 10 or down by 8 or up by 10 or whatever it might be.
Coach, I know a lot of people become enamored with Pete Suter's ability to score the basketball, but I think one of his most unsung traits is his ability to pass the ball. What does that do for your team offensively?
He's an incredible playmaker. And that's what number one, when we brought in Pete, I knew he was going to be the ultimate competitor. He's the best, one of the best teammates I've ever been around. But he can do whatever the game tells it. He does whatever the game tells him to do. Whether there's going to be games where he has 37. There's going to be games where he has 9 assists. There's going to be games where he has 27. He doesn't care. And so he just does whatever the game tells him to do. He's an elite pick and roll creation of shots, whether that's hitting the roll man, whether that's hitting a shooter, sprayed out, getting in the paint, finding guys. I mean, he had 9 assists, 3 turns tonight, I think. We finished with 9 turnovers, and we're down 2 PGs. And he's a big reason for that. Just his experience level, man, he's never flustered. But he's a tremendous playmaker.
Yeah, I would say I definitely have green light. I think everybody on our team does, but when shots are falling that early, you just sort of have to keep taking them.
Early on, what was UMass able to do to sort of, I guess, stay, I guess, on top?
They were out physically, out. I don't even know. They're being more physical than us. We had to figure out, how we were gonna bring the fight to them. And we sort of had to figure that out. Yeah.
Obviously, in a game like tonight with a lot of energy expended, you were without Luke for this game. What was it like? What was the feeling like on the bench? What did Travis tell you guys about conserving your energy as much as you can on a night where you use 7 players?
Well, first off, we all love Luke, but, he's sick. It happens. We just knew it was next man up. But as far as, conserving energy, we don't do that. We go as hard as we can every time we're on the floor.
Also, talk about that run in that second half, the midway through the second half. What do you think ignited for your offense?
We got some shots to fall, and, thankfully, Millette was packed out tonight, so that definitely helped when energy gets swinging our way.